Hey guys, how's it going? Daniel here. Today we're checking out Apple's new MacBook Pro with the Touch Bar. The version that I've been testing out is the 13-inch base model, which retails for $1,800, but ends up being closer to $2,000 after taxes and a couple of accessories. Now the MacBook Pro comes in a very simple box with nothing out of the ordinary. You get the MacBook, a USB Type-C cable, and the charging block along with documentation and the Apple stickers. Aside from that, the only other important thing you get in here is what's inside the laptop. This base model has a 2.9 GHz dual-core Intel Core i5 processor along with 8 GB of RAM, an Intel Iris Graphics 550, and 256 GB of flash storage. Basically, this comes with okay specs for a crazy price, but at this point, I don't expect much from Apple, nor do I expect them to appropriately price their products, because at the end of the day, they don't care about what we want as much as they do on how to increase profits. With that said, I'm going to forget about the price for the next few minutes and talk about its features. Right off the bat, one of the first things you're going to notice is the screen, which is just stunning. It's way better than the previous MacBook Pro and better than any other MacBook in the moment right now. It's right on par with the 5K iMac. It just has really nice colors, great viewing angles, small bezels, and it just gets really bright, so you can use it outside really well. Now let's talk about the keyboard, which I've actually been using the 12-inch MacBook for over a year now, and I really like these new butterfly type keys, which have less travel, but they are still clicky. I've just gotten really used to them, and I type faster on these keys than I do on the older keys now, and that's probably just because I've gotten used to them. So if you haven't used these, it's going to be quite a little bit, of time before you get used to it, but it's definitely a better experience. And I've also noticed they get less dirty and it just feels cleaner and it looks much nicer too. Now moving down from the keyboard, we also have the trackpad, which is huge and just great. You could use this for, just normal multitasking and gestures and everything, but you can also download an app out there that will allow you to use a stylus with this, so you can draw in Photoshop and really take advantage of this trackpad, which is really nice. And I believe that app is called Inklet. I used it, it works really well. And that'll really take advantage of this if you're a designer or an artist and you want to draw on your MacBook and you don't have an iPad or anything like that. Everything else about the laptop is quite perfect. I mean, the speakers sound perfect, have no distortion. The color finish on the Space Gray looks really great. All the edges are sharp. The industrial design is great as always from Apple. And Apple has really perfected the MacBook Pro, but at the end of the day, nothing feels professional. I mean, it's called the MacBook Pro and it feels almost no different to my 12-inch MacBook. I mean, it's definitely faster. Things will open faster, export faster than on my 12-inch MacBook, but it doesn't feel as much of a difference and as great of an upgrade as it did back in the day whenever you'd get a MacBook or a MacBook Pro. There was a huge difference in speed and what it meant to get a MacBook Pro. It kind of seems like Apple's kind of blurring the lines here and just making the MacBook a thinner version of the MacBook Pro, and the Pro really is kind of falling behind because, I mean, it should have had better specs than what it currently has. I was able to open some games like Rocket League and Heroes of the Storm, albeit only with the lowest graphics performance to get them to run, but those are things that won't run as well on my MacBook 12-inch. Just worth noting that overall my experience this past week and a half is very disappointing, and there was nothing I did on it that I couldn't do on my 12-inch MacBook, just for my workflow specifically. I barely ever use my laptop to edit 4K videos, but when I do, that 12-inch MacBook works just great to edit them. Now, if you're going to edit a heavy 4K video with a lot of, different levels on the timeline and things like that, then the MacBook Pro is going to work better. Or if you're going to connect it to a display and you need to power something else, then of course the MacBook Pro is going to be the way to go. But it's just odd how little of a difference there actually was when it's over $1,000 more. And yeah, but if you want this laptop and you know what you need, then you probably know that you're going to use this laptop well. But if you are going to get a MacBook Pro, I would highly recommend not getting the Touch Bar. I've seen a lot of reviews going like, well, I mean, if you're going to get a MacBook Pro, why not spend the extra money and get the Touch Bar? Well, because it's a real gimmick right now and it doesn't work for anything. There's nothing that's going to actually speed up workflow or do anything aside from it looking really cool. But if you are a professional, you already know all the shortcuts on Final Cut and Photoshop and Adobe Premiere and all those things, where it's just going to be a chore to actually go and reach up to the top to tap on a button when you could have just done a couple of commands on the keyboard quickly that you already got memorized and done the same thing. So I personally found no use from the touchpad aside from it being kind of cool looking. Now let's talk about the 4 USB Type-C ports, which are quite annoying. You're going to need adapters and dongles, or at least new cables. So if you are getting this laptop, make sure to include that into your budget, because you're going to need quite a bit, even just to charge your iPhone if you have one. It's beyond me why Apple would even remove something as simple as an SD card. And any other arguments for removing that are just invalid, because everyone uses SD cards, especially, you know, when they're buying a pro laptop, because most people here are editing photos, editing videos, things like that. An SD card's kind of like just an obvious thing to put in, and it's definitely thin enough to put into one of these laptops. And all they've given us here is 4 USB Type-C ports and a headphone jack, which even that they removed from the iPhone, and here they're keeping in, and I can't connect the headphones that I got with my iPhone into this MacBook, which is just incredible, really. And yeah, I mean, you can say the argument that wireless is the future and the AirPods are coming out soon, but a product should be fully functional out of the box to make it as easy as possible for the consumer. And Apple has gone ahead and done the opposite of what really their motto has been for the whole time they've been around, the past, 2 decades, and been popular. And they completely trashed that out with this new laptop. It just doesn't make sense what they've done. I mean, if you're an actual professional, you're going to want something much faster, much better. And unfortunately, this laptop just doesn't cut it, especially not at this price point, and making it pretty much impossible to really upgrade to the better specs without spending a ton of money. And I actually wasn't going to make this video, but I thought I would express just my views and thoughts on this laptop, considering there's quite a bit of reviews out there that are just kind of glossing over this laptop's biggest flaws. It's just a terrible laptop, and it's really expensive. So it's beyond me what Apple was thinking. If you're going to get a MacBook Pro, then do get the one without the touch bar and upgrade some of the internals so that it's a little bit faster. But if you don't need the thinnest laptop and the newest laptop, I'd say go with the last year's MacBook Pro and try to get one that's spec'd out, or even a used one that people are selling, and you'll get a really good price on it, and it'll be really fast. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. It's quite a disappointing video, really, because I was really looking forward to this product, and hopefully Apple does something and they take out a better product next time, or change their ways from what they've been doing recently, because honestly at some point it's enough with trying to fool customers and fool people into spending money for something that's really not worth the money, right? And they can give you stupid reasons for why you should get something, or why you need this, or why you need that, but I think this laptop draws the line to the point where just don't buy it, and don't even pay any attention to it till Apple does something about it and releases one with better internals and one that's not buggy and has issues for $2,000. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at DarGadgets or at RMRDNL, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, or you can also comment down below and I'll get back to you there. But aside from that, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.